We would be honored if you would join us.
If you came to this 5th episode for a moving plot and a shaking emotional roller coaster of love and history like the previous episode, number 4, Chapter 5 could be constituted as a pit stop. In the eyes of Star Wars fans, it's been a while since we last saw Tatooine, and it couldn't come at a better place because The Mandalorian in its glory shows us everything about Tatooine, inside and outside. Let's start from the beginning, and what we start with is a space battle between an unknown bounty hunters going for the child, which the Mandalorian still refuses to give up. That bounty hunter is quickly dispatched, but now the Mandalorian is barely surviving with a damaged ship. Just like previous Jedi and droids, he needs to make a stop in none other than the planet Tatooine, the planet where it all started. Anakin Skywalker was born, Luke Skywalker grew up there, and even old Ben Kenobi had a self-imposed exile on this dreadful planet that we love, of course. A lot will forget, but this happens around 5 years after Return of the Jedi, which means that Tatooine is now completely different. Jabba the Hutt is dead. There's chaos of the ruling class, and Boba Fett was sent falling to a Sarlacc pit. In terms of the Mandalorian plot, nothing really happens in this episode. He lands on a docking bay operated by Peli Motto, which is played by comedy legend Amy Sedaris, and another hallmark Star Wars character makes an appearance, which are the pit droids. They were beautifully displayed in this episode, 3 of them in fact, and immediately after that this was a complete joyful ride of Tatooine. We get to see Chalmun's Cantina years after we saw it in A New Hope. Remember back then when droids were not allowed?
Hey, we don't serve their kind here.
What?
You're a droid.
Once Mando is in there searching for work, he comes upon Toro Calican, a young bounty hunter looking for his comeuppance and wanting the Mandalorian to vouch for him, or hopefully after this job he could be inserted into the guild, and they're going for a renegade, Fennec Shand. During their search around the Tatooine desert, they come upon Tusken Raiders, and again we get a bit of an expansion in the canon lore. Never before did we see the Tusken Raiders communicate in this way on screen, and we do get that with the Mandalorian communicating through sign language with the Sand People, bartering in order to be able to pass through their land. Now, for the purpose of time and me explaining the ending and what really happened there, the young bounty hunter Toro betrays the Mandalorian and shoots the assassin Fennec Shand, leaving her corpse behind in the process, going straight for the child, taking both the bounty and the traitor, the Mandalorian, both of them to be handed over to the guild. Of course, as you can expect, the Mandalorian outsmarts Toro and shoots him down, therefore everything is resolved. The Mandalorian takes his repaired ship and leaves Tatooine, but what we do see in the end is quite intriguing. We cut to the place where assassin Fennec Shand was shot, and there's a shadowy figure approaching. We hear the clinking of boots, and an armored person walks up to her body. We don't see the face, and just as he's kneeling down, the credits roll. Who was this person in the closing moments? This is what sent the internet ablaze, and they always do this with every episode. They got the attention of fans, and what they did right now is that they opened up the idea of everybody's suggestion that yes, this might be Boba Fett coming back to Star Wars canon. We don't know yet, but fans already have a pretty good idea about it. As we talked about in a previous video, it's entirely possible that Boba Fett could still be alive within the Star Wars universe canon, and seeing as we've conveniently returned to Tatooine years after his supposed death, it seems like everything is falling into place for the return of Boba Fett. Now, eager fans have also pointed out this, that there's another clue that could hint this to be Boba Fett in Chapter 5 of The Mandalorian called Gunslinger. During the scene in Empire Strikes Back, a lot of people have pointed out the sound of the figure's boots is exactly the same noise that we hear when Boba Fett enters in this scene right here. Let's play a clip of it.
Join us.
If you listen to that closely and listen to the ending of this episode and the resemblance of the sound with the shadowy figure in Boba Fett, people have now gone completely insane, speculating that this is definitely Boba Fett. Dave Filoni even previously was asked if there's a chance for Boba Fett to make a return in The Mandalorian. In classical Dave fashion, he simply brushed it off, saying that anything is possible. You never know. Well, with this ending, seeing that it's Tatooine, it's where we last saw Boba Fett, and by all accounts it seems like a bounty hunter and a Mandalorian at that, it quite simply might be that Boba Fett is back, and this was just a hint of what's to come. Talk to me down in the comments. What do you guys think about this ending of the episode? Will we see Boba Fett in a future episode? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below. Subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, boys and gals, and I'll see you in the next episode.